After 2 years and a half of being in a bad place mentally, trying new habits, taking what is useful and discarding the rest, it feels like I'm at the end of self-improvement. I just came back from a long holiday recently, which explains why I haven't been posting a lot, even if I only post when I want to. I like to post at least a video per month. The vacation itself changed a bit my mindset and how I see self-improvement itself and the community. Let me explain. During vacations, I essentially destroyed the whole daily routines that I've built up for myself throughout the past 2 years. No more daily reading, journaling, working out, daily relationships, no more habits. And because of that, I also become a different person during these trips, because to me, your habits form who you are as a person. Coming back home, it took me a while to get readjusted to the daily life, and it kind of stressed me out because it was hard to get back into my daily habits. I thought, I would go back a little bit to who I was before, the person who was very unhappy with his life and was pretty down bad. But no, nothing changed. I was still as happy as I've ever been in my life. And also in parenthesis, let's just forget about the fact that I just came back from a trip which might have also affected my mood. I did take that into consideration when I made this video, but these feelings are absolutely true, and I've thought about it for a while, and I wanted to talk about it because of that. I was feeling happy without doing everything, and really sort of regressing, if you want to call it that, because I built myself a new PC because my laptop bricked itself and I started playing video games again. Look, this feeling of happiness that I still had whether I do these things or not made me realize that I don't need to feel obligated to do them anymore, because in the past I've had many feelings of regret when I wasn't able to fully complete my daily routine. I had a lot of regret when I went to sleep at night knowing that I did 2 out of 4 habits for that day, for example, and it sort of chased me every week after week. After not doing these habits for a while, I realized that I'm not really obligated to do them anymore, but I still do them because I appreciate the process of doing it no matter what. Really, it's just a way to enjoy life. I've stopped worrying about following everything down to a list in my self-improvement routine because I've been doing it for a long time now. And because of that, I sort of have a very high sense of satisfaction with my life. I feel so satisfied with life that I could die at any moment and I would be fine with that. Okay, not really. I don't really want to die because, my survival mechanisms are still intact. But I would be okay with that if it did happen. That's what I'm saying. For me, it feels that the road to self-improvement has led me here, to this mentality, to this way of seeing things. And I think its ultimate goal is to find that balance between pursuit and satisfaction. And ultimately, watching it all happen from the background, watching my life happen from the background. It feels like I'm viewing the ups and downs of my life as I would a movie, where what happens outside of me is separated from what happens inside of me. And I'm seeing it all transpire before my eyes on the big screen without really being too attached to what happens. I don't know, it's a really good feeling. That's the best way I can explain it. I've never been consistently happier in my life, except maybe for my childhood. To me, a good life is filled with a high diversity of experiences, some of them good and some of them bad, but all of them are part of a greater life story, of a greater adventure, a sense of adventure, because you need both of those. You need both good and bad things to happen to you to have good adventures and good stories to tell. I have goals. Of course I have goals. They're essential to a good life. But to accomplish them is not that important to me now. I want the journey that accompanies the pursuit of these goals themselves. Being successful, as society puts it today, doesn't really matter to me anymore because I've already Jesus Christ. Because I've already changed my definition of success, and by that definition, I'm already very successful in life and very happy. Of course, I can still and will always feel the societal pressures of conforming to their ideas of success, to the common idea of success, which mostly consists of fame and fortune from what I've seen. But much less than 2 years ago, where I was really stressed out and didn't know what to do in my life. I was really down bad and thought I wanted things that really don't matter to me anymore. At the same time, a part of me feels scared. I've become so comfortable these days with my daily routine, which was originally supposed to be, bringing me out of my comfort zone. I guess maybe my comfort zone just widened a lot and compensated for that. Now it feels that I'm not changing enough. I think it's a common thing in the self-improvement community. We get comfort out of what was once uncomfortable because that's the goal, really. And because we're so used to discomfort, after a certain point it gets pretty weird when you get too comfortable. How uncomfortable do you have to be, and when will you be satisfied? I see a lot of people that start self-improvement, go to create some good habits in their life, which the most common one I see is going to the gym, and then afterwards doing nothing else because that's enough for the day. They just stop right there. They do nothing else. They don't think about changing their life philosophy, their mindset, their life values, or really find what they seek out of life or trying to define that, because there's so many distractions today. They don't even think about doing that. Yes, if we do that, we are still making a change. We are still improving ourselves. But to what degree? Did anything really change except that part of your life? Today I'm sort of at the crossroads where I could decide to change once again, give myself some more discomfort, or simply just be happy with what I have because I have nothing else to add to my life. I've already done enough. I've talked about that feeling of being uncomfortable, but I just can't add more because I just have no more space. It's either I scrap the habits I've made that made me happy and do something new, or be consistent and patient. The problem is I don't really want to change anymore, even if I feel pressured to do so. I'm happy now, but it just feels like I have to do something or else I will lose all this happiness very quickly. The thing I dislike the most about self-improvement is that it gave me the feeling of being boxed in. I was following something I didn't really want to be a part of. By chasing what they say will be an improved version of myself, I become someone that is not me. It feels like I'm supposed to be aiming for what their definition of the 1% is, and I really hate it. I hate that part. I hate when self-improvement people talk about being part of the, above average, the 1%, the 10%, because essentially it just means you're constantly comparing yourself to people to see how you match up. Isn't self-improvement supposed to be about, the self? Why is it suddenly about being better than the people around you? When did that happen? There's no good reason for me to do that because it won't make me happier. It won't make me enjoy life more. Classifying people in hierarchies actually will probably do the opposite. Saying that, it's kind of weird because self-improvement by its nature is egotistical and self-centered all the time. You only think about yourself all the time, which is also unhealthy. But at the same time, you depend on other people's views of you to determine your happiness. The sort of weirdness in the self-improvement community is why there's so many stereotypes. Do these 5 habits to change your whole life. Just start working out, bro. Your life will change. You'll become a millionaire. If you follow my guide, you'll be able to escape the 9-to-5 wagey slave life. You idiot. Dude, of course you're depressed, man. You wank way too much. What you said, once per 3 days? Yikes, man. Yikes, sweetie. You gotta stop wanking your old noodle. Okay, to be fair, everyone should follow self-improvement. I feel like it's a good start for any person. But we should put a big warning sign on the entrance of the self-improvement community saying that it's a very long process and it's not immediate answers. This problem is common not just in the self-improvement community, but a lot of other online communities as well, because we're so used to having quick answers with just a Google search. Oh, I'm depressed, what do I do? There's no single answer to that. What works for some person doesn't work for another person. It's the same for financial advisors on TikTok. Really, do you really listen to those guys? It might have worked for them, but you don't think about the 90% of people under them that had tons of failures. Same with the fitness communities. It really depends on what you want to do and your goals and your values and what you want out of life. There's no simple answer, and I hate these videos that try to simplify self-improvement. But me being a hater on them, is also not good behavior, because, making self-improvement complicated will also gatekeep a lot of people from trying it out. So in the end, I'm doing nothing. I'm just talking, blowing hot air in the air. I'm just tired of forcing myself into someone else's skewed definition of success when I should have spent time trying to discover my own instead. After a certain point, self-improvement just feels like you're pranking yourself constantly. I've done all this to realize that in the end, there was absolutely nothing wrong with me to start off with. There's a wrong turn somewhere in self-improvement when you're constantly looking for things to change or things that are wrong within yourself to fix yourself. It fuels a sense of dislike for the self, and you constantly hate yourself. I'm not saying you can't try things out. I absolutely recommend you do, and to keep an open mind. But it's time to start using patience, consistency, and reason instead of following trends mindlessly because of how we feel at certain times of the day. This reminds me of a quote from Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. Your worst sin is that you betrayed yourself for nothing. And to me, the meaning of this comes from the fact that we do indeed betray ourselves for nothing when we do not follow where our heart wants to be. If life is a place to create meaning for yourself, then betraying yourself must mean that you have followed another person's life meaning for far too long. Anyways, after all this time, after all this effort, I've really simplified my process and stopped thinking about it so complicatedly. Oh my god, that's a word.